Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's me, Carol Baskin. I just took a kitty cat ride around my kitty cat meow meow kitty cat lake. Just kidding, everybody. I know Elizabeth is like, what is happening right now? But it's me, it's Cami. And I'm here with Elizabeth, and we are on episode 58 of the Biz Bash podcast. And we are talking about how Elizabeth took some time off of Instagram, specifically 3 months off Instagram, and how it changed her approach to business. If you haven't seen Tiger King, I'm so sorry about that weird intro, but just watch it. Anyway, so we'll be talking about how you can possibly take this same step in your business and take some time off Instagram and kind of realign with your business goals and business strategy and see how that goes for you by basically putting on your blinders. And honestly, I think this is like a terrifying notion. So I'm very excited to hear from Elizabeth to tell us how it affected her business, how it affected her mindset, and how she actually made this happen without letting her business fall into the ground, basically. So Elizabeth, let's hear it.
Yay, I'm excited. Obviously, you and Alex loved Tiger King, which is cracking me up because it's taken the world by storm. Yet I have heard several other people. The world seems to be divided in two camps. The camp that like loves this and the camp who like watched it and hated it and was like, that was a massive waste of my time.
Oh, I know. But I have this penchant for like redneck people and people who are insane. I just love it so much. It makes me so happy. I love watching things like cops and like just crazy people. Like I just love it. So I'm all about it for sure.
Yeah, many good I heard from moments. A friend, because I asked a friend who, like a college friend who knows me really well, and I was like, look, everyone's talking about Tiger King, and I was like, but I don't know if I should watch it. And she was like, frankly, I saw a meme the other day that summed it up perfectly, and the meme was like, you don't watch Tiger King, you process Tiger King.
Basically.
And she was like, that is so true, because it's so crazy, and in these crazy times, because of everything with coronavirus. She basically said to me, she was like, if you're not wanting to feel like additionally unstable, she was like, I would suggest not. And so
it is very dark. It is very dark, but
yeah, I am not going to watch it. Oh. Yeah, I've heard from a few people now that are just like 2 out of 10. Wow, I'll never get like that wasted time back. Or like Kelsey Kelly did something so funny on Facebook where she was like, 10 unpopular opinion, 10 things I hate, and each like letter spelled out like Tiger King in an acronym essentially. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do this to myself right now. I'm going to stick with the lighthearted things like The Office and like Ugly Delicious, and like the food shows are so wonderful, but also making me so sad because I'm so afraid for all of the restaurants and places that are closed right now.
I know.
It's just crazy.
Also, did you know that Joe Exotic from Tiger King, he got coronavirus?
Oh, is he still alive? I had no idea.
Yeah, he's alive. He's in jail. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he got coronavirus, and I saw that in the news, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then I was like, it was freaking Carol Baskin. And y'all who watched it know what I'm talking about. But anyway, moving on.
I mean, I know I've heard enough about her to like know kind of what's up there. But I also am so bitter because it feels like all these like celebrities and people are getting really easy access to be like tested. And like the general population is not, because it's like, oh my God, so-and-so huge name has it and so-and-so huge name. And I'm like, how are they getting tests? And like the average American who's getting sick can't.
I know.
This is just me on my high horse, but freaking great. Yeah, he has it. Hopefully he will recover, and then I won't look like as much of a meanie saying what I just said.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is getting derailed so quick.
Derailed so quick. All right. Going back to everything about Instagram and taking 3 months off, which really turned into like 2.5 because my intent was to take January, February, and March off. And then mid-March was when pretty much like everything blew up and got serious really, really fast in the US in regards to coronavirus. So I was already feeling kind of like disconnected from everyone at that time. So at that point, I did hop back on Instagram mid-March just to, I don't know, like watch people's stories and see what was going on and feel like included again. And that's something that I'll get to later in the episode. And I think like camaraderie was one. But I'm going to go ahead and just try to like hit all of these on the head like really quick to talk about how my time off Instagram did change my business. And I would say changed it for the better. Just made me realize a lot of things. So number one, I was forced to plan my social media strategy in advance. I knew that I wanted to have things still posting to Instagram, even though I was quote unquote off Instagram, but I didn't want to do it in real time. So at the end of December, I scheduled all my posts for January. At the end of January, I scheduled all of them for February, etc. And I would post 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I used Planoly to do this. And then I would like occasionally check from like my desktop or like Safari on my phone to kind of like monitor comments and stuff.
With planning your post for an entire month, do you have tips for like how someone can do that? Because like for me, that scene, I cannot wrap my brain around how I would do that. Like I understand obviously the concept, but I feel like I like to post in the moment and like I would get so uninspired like just writing something. So do you have like tips on like prompts or things you're using for captions?
I was mainly trying to do a really good job talking to my potential client because I realized like one of my past Instagram mistakes was talking to fellow creatives. Sorry, guys, but that's why we have the podcast now. And so I needed to like generate some interest on my client base. So I would just talk about like paper types or printing methods, or here's something cool about wax seals, or like a trick for RSVPs. I don't know. I would just kind of like rack my brain of like the knowledge that I have regarding an invitation suite and like how could I share that? And I wouldn't try to make them like blog posts by any means. I would try to accomplish it in a couple paragraphs. And then I would always end it with like, to schedule your free consultation today or like submit an inquiry, go to elizaanncalligraphy.com. Like always have a call to action. And then I would always use my hashtags because you can store collections of them in Planoly, which is super nice. And I think one of the biggest struggles for people is that they feel like they don't have enough photos. And I know, Cami, that might be the case for you too, because you kind of take product photos like as you go, right? Yeah. Instead of like doing big shoots. So I am so lucky because of that big shoot that I did in October of like all the flat lays of my invitation suites. I just kept pulling from like that portfolio over and over again. And so there's like definitely like invitation suites that have shown up multiple times at this point, but it was almost like I don't even really care, you know, like I didn't care about necessarily like showing something visually different. I just cared about like maintaining a presence. But with like seasonality for you, especially with products, I just know how you work. So like,
how is that?
Well, for you to do something like this, you would have to plan like months in advance, and that's not really what you do. You know, you just like love getting it out there, and you love going for it, and doing it all at once, and like that's great because everyone has a different strategy, and that was just what I happened to do that was working for me.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I definitely noticed like the shift in like your tone on Instagram, because it definitely became more like, hey, I do invitations and here's what I can do for you as a bride, versus like, hey guys, I was working on this today. Here's the printer I was using. And like more, yeah, definitely like changed who you're talking to. And I think that made like a huge difference in how you approach things and how you decide to like approach your, even like your photos, everything. So like, for you guys who are listening, maybe think about who are you actually trying to talk to on Instagram? Are you trying to reach other creatives? Are you trying to reach moms? Are you trying to reach brides? Are you trying to reach people who just want like some really cute cards or notebooks, or like who are you looking to talk to? Because that should kind of show up in your captions on who you're talking to. And it's okay to talk to multiple groups of people. Just be like really focused on each post that you are talking to.
Yeah, agreed for sure. And like, don't get all caught up in this whole like client avatar thing, or like, does she go to J. Crew or Target or blah, blah, blah. I was like, I am just talking to people that are getting married that might be interested in my services. I just kept it super stupid simple and didn't overthink it. And that's what Cami and I love doing, is making everything stupid simple. So
exactly, yeah. Like if I start getting bogged down between whether my client shops at Anthropologie or J. Crew, I like lose my mind, because I'm like, well, I sometimes go to J. Crew, but I also like Anthropologie. But like, what if I don't like all their stuff? And it's just like, it's okay.
Yes. It is totally okay. It is totally fine. You just need to know kind of like the stage of life, and then everything will follow.
Yeah. Are you ready to push the envelope in your stationery biz and finally get the answers you're looking for? We're bringing together industry leaders in one place with a virtual conference anyone can attend.
The Stationers Summit is an online game changer with session topics that are for stationers by stationers. And with 18 different educators, you can't afford to miss this. We've got all the names you love, such as Swell Press, Design House Amora, Papel & Co., Design by Laney, and so many others. And you guys, they are here to bring you the answers you can't get anywhere else.
It's time to break down the walls of the stationery industry and open the door for anyone and everyone. We believe there is room for all of us at the table, and we're offering you a virtual seat. And of course, we'll be there too, talking about everyone's favorite topic, pricing for custom stationery.
During 2020, registration for the Stationers Summit will be opening twice at the price of $497. This includes all the educator sessions as well as additional Q&A educator recordings that have been added to the student portal.
Join the 900 plus students that have the summit. Visit stationery.com for more information on registration dates and to get on the waiting list.
So I think the second big change was that I saved myself a ton of time each day, and I was able to use that time to network in person and do other things in my business. So I literally went from spending like 2 hours a day on Instagram to spending less than 20 minutes. And I would almost even like forget that Instagram existed at certain points because it wouldn't even be on my mind to like check it because I didn't have the app on my phone, and like everything was being posted automatically. So all of a sudden I felt a lot more free to like, if I needed to spend time driving to a meeting or like sitting down with a planner for coffee, I could do that because I had like 2 additional hours in my day that I wasn't like wasting scrolling or like checking something. So I ended up feeling like really present and focused during this time. And I would really only like check in, like I was logged in to it on Safari on my phone. And if you've ever done that before, it's like super clunky. It totally loses its appeal. But I would occasionally like open that because I would want to see what you were doing, Cami, or like a couple other people, like my sister-in-law, like how are her kids? So it's not like I like blocked it out of my life completely. I just developed a lot better boundaries for it.
Yeah. Did you like struggle with willpower to do this like in the first few days or weeks or whatever?
Not really, because honestly, I think I felt this overwhelming sense of relief that I didn't feel pressure to be on there all the time. Because it was like, peace, I'm out. And because I think I felt so much pressure every day to like show up on stories or say something cool or interact with people. And so I maybe had like a little bit of FOMO because I couldn't see like what others were doing, but it's not that I myself like felt compelled to be on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you're like really good at being able to just be like, I'm not doing this anymore, and then just not doing it. Like you're very, I don't know what that like quality is, but you really have it. Like I don't think I have that. Like I was like, oh, where are you? And Words with Friends? You're like, oh, it took up too much of my time, so I deleted it. I was like, oh, well, now look at me, a loser playing Words with Friends.
For Words with Friends, yes.
Just left me hanging.
Because of like the coronavirus, I totally downloaded that one week. I was like, everyone play me. And then after a week, I was like, I'm done now.
I was like, where did she go? Alex is like, she won't play me back. I'm like, well, let me ask her. I don't know what happened.
I love that he was invested though, really, but to be honest, he played the word shiitake against me and he literally gained like 100 points from that alone.
He's really good. He just beat me 5 times in a row. He's really good at Words with Friends. I've taught him a lot.
This is the problem. You were also schooling me. And so it's like I was playing you and Alex and my brother and a couple other people that were really good. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I was having fun.
Yeah,
But then I was like, I'm literally spending all my damn Words with Friends now. Great. So I had to, I had to delete it.
Yeah. Our biggest fights in marriage have definitely been from us playing Scrabble games with each other or Words with Friends. Like I crush him. We play like actual Scrabble because he's not able to just like swap in stuff a million times to see. But then when we play Words with Friends, he just like somehow comes up with words. Like he played Tip Cats. I'm like, what the freak is Tip Cats? Like, what? How is this a word? Like, I just thought about it, and I was like, Tip Cats is not a word. Like, you would never would have known that. It was, and now like we learn all these new words. But one time I played the word pie against him, and it was like some crazy thing that I got like so many points, and he literally like flipped the Scrabble board. It was so funny. And like now he's like, this is not a word. I'm like, it is a word. So anyway, we have a lot of fun playing that game. So when you started playing, I was like, yes. And then you just peace out.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like, you would never come up with that if you were in person. You're right. That's why my brother kind of has a vendetta against Words with Friends as well, because of a story from like years ago where he was playing my brother and my cousin, and they did the same thing. They dragged around words.
Because you only get one shot in Scrabble, and if it's not a word, you lose the point or lose the thing or your turn. Yes. Sorry, I can't speak.
Yes, very different. So it's like Words with Friends should maybe have something in place where it's like once you put the letter down, it stays. Like,
yeah,
you know,
we have that rule. So I'll be like, you get 3 tries to make a word. Like, that's it. Oh, it's so funny though. But yeah, you guys, I was in Scrabble Club in high school. It was really fun. Like, so.
Which my husband swears that is nerdier than Chess Club.
Probably.
He was laughing so hard when I told him. I was like, oh, Cami said she's in Scrabble Club and that's why she's beating me so bad. And he was like, I'm sorry. He was like, that is nerdier than Chess Club.
My English teacher was like a competitive Scrabble player. Like, she was incredible. Like, this just older lady. I just loved her. And so she started a Scrabble Club. And I was like, well, heck yeah, I'm doing Scrabble Club. Plus, I was always like really into writing. And I went to school for journalism. So it kind of like made sense, right? You know, I love words.
Yes.
So she was awesome. But yeah, it was super nerdy. But whatever. You guys know I'm a nerd.
Oh my gosh. Classic. Yeah. So anyways, you're right. I'm pretty good at like once I'm done with something, I just like delete it.
Yeah.
Which is what I did with Instagram and what I do with Words with Friends. But Instagram was like I said before, more of like a prioritizing, rebalancing type of thing than like fully extricating. Oh, what am I trying to say?
Eradicating
that from my life. I just had a Michael Scott moment where I like made up a word.
We have been extravating Instagram.
Yes. So because of this, so like my number 3 point about change was that after a while, Instagram actually started feeling less forced and more fun again, because it was like, oh, I have a social media strategy in place and this is no longer dominating my life completely, which now gives Instagram a little bit of room to be more fun again. So if I wanted to make the decision like one evening that I was on my desktop, like scrolling through Instagram or checking things out or watching people's stories, I could be like, I'm making this really intentional choice to spend time like browsing Instagram right now instead of feeling like it was like sucking time before. So less of a chore and more fun if I decided to check in and see what was going on, basically.
Yeah, I do feel like Instagram becomes like it becomes like a business strategy thing. And so then it doesn't become fun anymore. It's just like, oh my gosh, everyone I'm following is like business strategy this, I'm doing this. And it just like becomes a lot sometimes. So it's like everything is business. So it does lose like that fun personal side of things. You know, I don't have a personal account either. So like everything is on my one. So it's like all mixed up together. So I feel like for me, like now that I downloaded TikTok because I'm crazy, I feel like that is like so no pressure for me. Like this is totally opposite because I'm adding something instead of taking it away. But I'm like, I don't worry about being like Cami Monet, the artist. I'm just like being an idiot and like it doesn't matter. I don't know anybody on here. So it's like more fun. It feels like the way social media used to feel before I had a business, you know? That kind of thing. And you're right. You do kind of lose that. So it is cool that you were able to like rekindle the fun behind things versus just like a business chore.
Well, and something I could actually see for you in the future, Cami, would be kind of like a little bit of a mental switch on Instagram. Like, so Diana of Chasing Linen did this actually, where she made Chasing Linen a personal account, Diana Aaron, and then she started another like Chasing Linen like co-account that's run by like a social media manager that is like specifically actually business. So like maybe someday, like if you did like Cami Monet art or something like that, you had a handle that's specifically dedicated to just like photos that maybe a VA is posting for you. It could be more business centric. And then you could keep this one like your more personal
like
one.
Lily like Val and Valerie McKeehan. I always say her last name wrong. I probably said it wrong in them. She has her own and like her business one. Yeah, that makes sense.
And same with Rifle Paper Co. There's Rifle Paper Co. and there's Anne Bond.
Anna Bond, yeah.
So that could happen for you in the future as you like grow your wholesale line and stuff,
Yeah.
like that maybe there is an account someday that's specifically dedicated to products. But I would say with like your personality and the way you approach business and life, like your strategy works so well for you as it is now. And you obviously still have like a lot of fun, I think.
I do. I mean, yeah.
A little too much fun. No, I'm just kidding. It's been great.
It's true, you guys.
Okay, so number 4 then for how it changed my business was that I felt like I was actually able to be fully creative and focused on my clients without seeing inspiration everywhere or getting comparison syndrome. So this was a huge plus for me because I can genuinely say I created one of my most innovative and creative invitation suites during the time I wasn't on Instagram. And I can 100% say like that inspiration was sourced from anywhere but social media. So I created something like truly original for my client and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. Like you weren't looking at anyone else's stuff or being like, oh, what if I just like take this cool idea and like use it for like this? And by taking a cool idea, you guys, we mean not like actually taking the cool idea like a concept, but taking like a part of that concept where it's like, I like how they use really bold font on this. I'll use really bold font on my suite. Not the same one, the same placement, that kind of thing. So hopefully that clarifies. Mm-hmm. Just throwing that out there as a little side tangent. But it's really, we do get like bogged down looking at everyone else's stuff and all the cool things everyone else is doing. And it can be hard to like filter what is truly your idea versus what is something like you've seen it is stuck in the back of your brain, that your brain is just like, oh yeah, we saw that, we're going to subtly bring it out. And like, you have to be able to like very clearly be like, okay, I saw that, I'm inspired by the colors of this, but I'm not going to copy it exactly. And you have to be able to like actually know within yourself and be honest with yourself, are you actually getting inspiration from people or are you just like finding inspiration in a really healthy way? So getting off it completely can be like a total restart to your creative process.
Yes. 100% agreed with that in so many ways. It was just like really healthy and good for me because I know in the back of my mind, I'm like definitely inspired by certain elements of what I've seen other people do in the past, but it was like, I got to find my own unique way of doing it. Like with the like unique cuts in an invitation suite or how things like fold together and like sit together. And I like came up with this like really fun concept. I'm so excited to like share everything eventually. And then I also wanted to have, this is kind of like point B of this, is part of my intention of doing this from the first place was that I was about to undergo this whole like website redesign, which I freaking talk about all the time.
You're doing a website redesign? I'm just
Cammy makes fun of me, but at this point it's live, which is super exciting. Like once this episode releases, it will be live. But I wanted to have the space to engage in this without being distracted with what other people were doing and what their branding looked like. So that was really exciting too, because as I did my branding homework for everything, I got to really think about like, what do I want? Like not what she's doing or what he's doing, but what do I want? So I felt like that helped me too, that to have a really like individual approach to that as well.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was really fun to actually have like a huge creative thing to be working on during that time too. Like it wasn't just like you stopped Instagram and you're like, well, now like you had like this big thing coming up to work on where it was still super creative and you still had like, you know what I'm saying? Like you still like were working on something huge in your business and growing it, but you were just able to focus your efforts on something that is way more important.
Yes, way more. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's like just easy to get like decision fatigue in general. So it was nice to be like really focused and not feeling like my energy was going a million other places.
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy May, I have a few questions for you if you don't mind.
Well, Elizabeth, you're always as lost as last year's Easter egg, so go ahead and ask them.
Thank you so much. All right, let me look here. I wrote them down. What printer do you use in your home office? And what watercolor paper do you recommend for those beautiful paintings you make? Also, do you have a favorite brand of paint and a favorite paintbrush? Because I would just love to be able to use those to make something like you do. And lastly, I'd really like to know how the heck you scan in those artwork paintings to your computer and make them look so realistic. It just looks like they've been painted right on that screen.
Elizabeth, I tell you what, sometimes you are as useless as a steering wheel on a mule because you just got all kinds of questions. But you know what? Where you can find all of them answers, you just got to go to bizbirthdaybash.com/favorites. You know, Cami and Elizabeth, them real cute girls who talk about paper all the time, and they're just the cutest things I ever seen. Well, they put together an Amazon resource list so you can just shop it whenever you want. It's shoppable. You just click the links. It takes you right to the products they use. And who doesn't love Amazon with that 2-day shipping? It gets there lickety split.
Oh my gosh, those two girls are just heavenly angels sent from the Lord themselves. I can't believe they would go out of their way to do something so nice for us. So, where is this again? Do I have to use the intranet to find this?
You got to get on the line. Okay, so you just got
this. All right, I got to get a pen real quick. Can you tell me one more time what that link is so I can write it down right here?
My art. Elizabeth,
please tell me.
I'm going to tell you right now. I have been
one more time.
I will tell you if you just hush up, okay? All right. So you know I'm busier than a cat covering up crap on a marble floor. So just hold on. I'm getting right to it. Here is the link, y'all, okay? Write this down. bizbirthdaybash.com/favorites. Go shop all of Cami and Elizabeth's favorite supplies and office resources. You can do it. bizbirthdaybash.com/favorites.
I'm so excited. I'm about to dial up right now.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Okay, so cool thing number 5.
Thing number 5.
This one was awesome. My numbers did not drop. So I'm sure everyone's probably kind of curious about this, like whether or not I lost followers. And I actually gained followers. So I probably gained about 500 followers while I was quote unquote off the platform. Granted, I was still posting content in my feed that was scheduled ahead of time. So it kept people engaged. But like I gained followers even though I wasn't doing stories. Like I wasn't doing any of this other stuff that people say you should be doing all the time, you know, to gain an audience. And granted, like, of course I wasn't growing, like I didn't grow by like the thousands or anything like that, but I didn't drop. And I think that was like a huge win. I was like, oh, cool. I can still kind of stay engaged with this platform, but I don't have to try like as hard as I did before.
Yeah, honestly, that's like such a huge relief to hear because I think like our fear is like, oh, if I stop posting or if I don't show up, if I don't show my face, like everyone's just going to leave and be like, whatever, she's not on stories, so I'm out. But like people probably unfollow you more when you do post stories because not you guys specifically, just in general, because like, you know, like, oh, I don't want to see this person. You know what I mean? Like there's more of a risk of unfollowing. Anyway, I'm just like going down this weird thing.
Or getting like muted, you're basically saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but it is a relief to hear like even with like a lower footprint on the platform, you can still continue to grow. Like you don't have to be on there like 4 hours a day and doing all these things. Yeah. And I think so that if you were like wondering, hey, can I take a break right now? Maybe just take a week off or a weekend off just to like start off with it. Like, don't be afraid that everything is going to explode without you because it's not. Like, you're still going to be able to like grow in your business. Your business isn't going to die. Like, it's going to be okay. And in fact, you might actually see some growth from it.
Agreed, for sure. Okay, so then number 6 was I was able to spend time focusing on other marketing methods that will be more beneficial for my business in the long run. I've been drinking a lot of water during this too. I'm trying to stay hydrated, but this includes things like networking, coffees, in-person meetings, cold emails to local vendors and planners, venue meetings at open houses, and email marketing. For example, I did a ton of sales in January for some products I wanted to retire from my website, and I didn't even announce it on Instagram at all. I just emailed my list and still did an awesome launch, and that was like the best feeling in the world. I was like, this is why I freaking grew my email list in the first place, so that I didn't have to be a billion places at once. And now this is like really proven that I can continue to sell in a different way instead of being on Instagram all the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is like just the coolest thing ever. So as you were going through this, you know, like time off, did you have like any negative impacts or was there anything that you'd be like, yeah, this was not a good idea because of XYZ?
I would say my biggest thing was that I just like missed you guys. Yeah. Like I missed like, I would check in to see Cammy's stuff, like your stuff, obviously, but overall, kind of just like seeing what my friends were doing, or like my friends with kids and babies now, like, oh my gosh, like in 3 months, babies changed so much. So it's like I felt like I would like miss out on some of those updates. But I really think that was it. Like, I can't think of a way that I felt like negatively impacted by not being there. Besides, like the first week, my life felt very quiet.
Yeah.
Like, because you really do have that like withdrawal period where it felt very quiet and I had like FOMO, like, what is everyone else doing? Like, what am I even doing with my time? Because it was such a different pace than I was used to. And then once I got used to it, yeah, it kind of just like proceeded from there. But like, you and I interact like a ton on Instagram, Cami. So I think that was weird for me, like losing that aspect of our relationship of like replying to each other's stories or like commenting on each other's stuff. I don't know. Like, obviously, we talk a ton regardless.
Yeah. But we usually have like 4 conversations happening, like one on Instagram, one on Facebook, one in like text, and then like one on the phone, and probably one over email too.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where it goes. So that one, I guess, was on the chopping block. But it's also like probably like you felt like Instagram is always just like in the background for us. It's always just like a background noise, and then when you shut that off, it's just like eerily silent for a little bit, and you're just like, wait a minute. Like it just probably felt like uncomfortable, So so you have to like figure out, okay, I don't have to have this noise like of my sound machine to sleep at night or whatever. I can move forward with the silence and like figure out. I think it forces us too, like when we're distracted by all these things, to like, okay, now that I don't have that distraction, now I actually have to focus on the thing that I actually do need to do, instead of being like, oh yeah, I'm being really busy right now, I'm on Instagram, I'm like growing my business. And like I think that's sometimes a little bit of a little lie we tell ourselves, like, I'm being so productive, I just liked 4 posts. This is like really working hard, but I'm just like, no, just actually turn off Instagram and do the thing. Like, you have to like literally tell yourself that. So the fact that you were just like, no, I'm going to do that for 3 months or whatever is just like so cool.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think you used the perfect word to describe it, like uncomfortable. Like the first week or 2 just was super uncomfortable because it's just that adjustment period. And it was the first 2 weeks of January, and I hate January.
Yeah, you do.
But I think I can say with confidence now that I hated March more because of everything that happened. So
it's all good now. January doesn't look so bad. I mean,
oh my goodness. Yeah. So, like I said, I ended up coming back a little early because of the way everything was affected due to COVID-19. And I wanted to connect with everyone and kind of check in on everybody during this season just to see what they were doing. But I felt like my time was super beneficial. And even now, I feel like I just have a more healthy relationship with the app. I am currently not scheduling more posts. I was supposed to schedule like my April post at the end of March. But as we know, like we've already said a million times, life is super weird and strange right now. So I haven't even like gotten around to doing that.
And who knows what'll change, because like if you're scheduling them out this far, I mean, what if something crazy happens and then you have an Instagram post that goes out and it's like completely unrelevant.
Yes. And that's what I was realizing, is that I still had posts rolling out at the end of March that had like no commentary at all towards what was happening currently.
Yeah.
And it's not that I even like thought it was bad. I was just like, I would kind of check it when something posted to make sure I hadn't posted something weird. And there was one day where it was like, I've just really enjoyed connecting like with my fellow vendors in person. And then one of my friends commented back, she was like, with proper like social distancing or whatever.
Did you delete that? I didn't see it.
No, I didn't end up deleting it. It was like, cheers to connecting with fellow vendors or something like that. And she was just like being facetious. Yeah. She was just messing with me. But that was something, that I had scheduled earlier. Right. And so I might take the approach for a while of trying to continue like posting in person or like scheduling something for like maybe the week, but not like a month.
I mean, and even before you did all this, you had posted like once a month. And I was like, what? Because you were like, no, I haven't posted on my feed. I've just been on stories. And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused. Like in November?
Yeah, so I literally flipped it like while I was off Instagram, quote unquote. I wasn't on stories at all, but I had content in my feed.
Yeah, you are wild. I can't keep up with you. You're crazy. It's like, I'm on Instagram.
Well, you somehow manage to do posts in your feed and do stories. So you're even crazier.
I am crazy. I try to do one post a day, typically. I might skip a day or two.
I know. It's amazing. Like, how do you do it? Do you like do it first thing in the morning?
No, I just do it when I feel like it. I don't know. Also,
look at you go.
My little sneaky tip is sometimes I just copy and paste my captions from like, I'll just like scroll the back of my Instagram and be like, this is a fun caption, and I'll just use that. I've been doing that a lot lately.
Yes, I know. That's so smart when you told me that.
Yeah.
My mind was blown.
No one notices.
Yeah, even me, like your best friend didn't notice. I had no idea until you said something.
Like, my husband didn't even notice.
So
like
smart.
There was that one I did like an intro post, and it was like, what I'm craving right now, butter and pancakes or something. And then the next morning he's like, I made you pancakes because your Instagram post said you were craving pancakes. And I was like, oh, that was actually from like a year ago, but I'll take the pancakes. He's like, oh. I'm like, I'm not really craving pancakes right now. So everything is a lie, you guys.
Yeah, who's gonna reject pancakes like ever?
I know. I was like, that is so cute, but I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it.
But yeah, and then sometimes when I like, you'll notice the days where I'm like, oh, I feel like I need to post something, but I don't have anything to say, and I'll just be like, love beautiful watercolor stuff or something stupid like that. The ones that are like a sentence long is when I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, the fact that you still, that you're like always doing it in person is awesome. It's like, wow, I haven't done that in so long. But for my launch, I will. I think that'll obviously be like an in-person thing I upload and talk about all that good stuff.
It's harder to schedule stories too, or like do those not on the fly, you know?
Yeah, stories I don't really think are meant to be scheduled.
Yeah.
Those are more of like a in-person thing, unless you know in advance, like, oh, I'm launching something this day, so this week the content will be X, Y, and Z, but then you still have to like get on there and talk about it. Like,
and I mean, you could like pre-record it, but like, I don't know, I feel like that's even more work than just getting on and doing it. Like,
yeah,
you know? Like,
yeah. But I hope that this helped all of you out there who are maybe considering doing something similarly with Instagram or really any other social media that you're on and that you use for your business, just so you can consider like, how can I take time off from this, quote unquote, or how can I increase my like boundaries with it, essentially.
Yeah.
To make your life better and your approach to business better.
Yeah. So if any of you guys are thinking about doing like a social media fast, quote unquote, on any platform, let us know on Instagram. We'll have you can comment on the post of today and go let us know, because I'm like so fascinated by this. It's like a very cool subject and it's like very counterculture. So I would love to hear y'all's experiences, or if you're thinking about doing it, we can just kind of like chat about it on Instagram. The irony. So I guess if you are doing a social media fast, then we won't know.
And we would not know.
So
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
It is very funny. That being said, if you guys are liking the podcast, please give us a rating and a review on iTunes. We love hearing from all of you. We really do read all of them. And it makes us so excited when we get our little podcast record update via email every week, and like when we see that new reviews come through, it's the best. And we always like send them to each other and we're like, look, we got a new one.
It really is
and
the best.
It just keeps us going, especially in these weird times. So
yes, for sure, definitely leave us a review. And if you have questions, we do our Q and Cake episodes where we answer your questions on the podcast, and you can submit your questions at braysbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake. So you can connect with us there as well. Even if you're not on Instagram or anything else, you can always do that. So
yes, perfect. All right. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.